I would like to procure the bag.
I wanna be a rich bitch. Penthouse doorman, money, 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 rich bitch. Hey, give me that bag. Rich bitch.
Yes, you're so rich.
Pay me.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm happy
Oh
to
my
do it.
God, Big Brother.
Big brother, he's
Ah,
watching.
hi.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
Gosh, I am actually really good. I know I'm like look really fresh and from the bed, and I
Listen,
am.
I'm so glad that we're giving like Sunday morning realness with like the pajamas and robes and just
Yeah,
the
mine's actually
craziness
really
of it
cute
all.
dress, but it doesn't look like a dress when you.
Oh, it's cute. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
That's
very
like
Fran Drescher.
you're red carpet ready. It totally is.
Yeah. And she doesn't have anything on but some lip balm and a personality, you know.
I
So,
don't even have that, so you're ahead of me.
mhm, mhm.
I'm disgusting right now. I went to the gym yesterday and
Great,
I kicked my ass so hard
good.
to the point where like my tank top walking home was see-through. Like it was I
Wow.
might as well have been naked. I was disgusting.
Well,
And
that's the idea of the workout. Yeah.
totally. And like I got home and my neighbor wanted to meet up for coffee and go for a walk with the puppies, and so we did that.
Wow.
And then I came back and I had a 2.5 hour double podcast interview with this podcast. So like by the time all of this was done, like basically I'm saying all this to say that I got super busy yesterday and I have not showered from that gym situation yet. So
Yeah, you win. Yeah, you win. Because I definitely took a shower last night.
yeah, I'm king disgusting right now.
Right. Hashtag being disgusting over here. That's great. How to be a disgusting bitch.
How to be a disgusting bitch. So tell me about Virginia. How's the visit with the parentals going?
It's been really good. We got here on Sunday. That's after, oh my gosh, it's after we wrapped the movie. Then we took all the equipment back to the studio that we rented it from while we were in tandem working with the props people to make sure the returns were going well. We had to navigate, I rented a car, so I jumped out of the car, ran to get to our time to get our rental vehicle in the village. Then I drove that up to our apartment where I loaded everything in while he dropped off the final stuff in his mom's car. And then we met up and got out of here in the nick of time. We had to get our, it was just like, this is so crazy, especially after you've been filming for days. Your
I'm sure.
schedule
Well,
is,
talk about that. What was the project? What was the thing?
yeah. So it's called, I can't get too into it because, it's not
Totally.
dead,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it's a sci-fi dark kind of comedy, I would say, because it really is about called Robotomy. It's really good. It's about people believing either when it was originally written by Michael Pisano, he was like my partner, it was about climate change deniers, but now it's kind of just about everyone believing insane shit. So it's so much more, it's even more relatable today, and it's about someone who kind of goes into a doctor's office and says that they're definitely a robot. There's something in my arm, like there's something wrong, there's nanos in my arm. And the doctor's like, there's really not, like, I assure you. And the person's like, no, a CEO just found out that we just found out a CEO is a robot, like this is in the future a little bit. And he's like, no, you got to check it out. So it starts with the doctor taking his arm off and looking through and being like, there's no robots in your arm, like your arm is human, you're human. And he's like, no, take my other. So then it goes into some weird shit. So it's actually really thought-provoking. And what's really cool about it is it looks incredible. Though the set was expertly done. It looks like a real hospital room for sure. The props that we had, the art design was incredible. Shout out to Christina Andrade. She's so amazing. She's a friend of mine that I pulled her in on the pilot, the diner pilot, which we also just gave notes, our first round of notes for. It's coming really well together.
Oh,
But
good.
anyway, so like that's really cool. So it was just a really beautiful experience. And then I just have to say, the actors, only two actors, just a two-person. One is the doctor, very calming, healing presence, and the other person is like flipping out, and both were really done brilliantly. One of the people that I brought in was Kwabena Mpofu, who's like so stoic and just a wonderful actor. SAG-AFTRA. Of course, it was microbadge. It was SAG-AFTRA.
We love.
And again, it was just such a magical experience. And while that was going on, I booked an acting gig.
Of course you did.
So I I'm like producing as well. We had another producer, but I was the producer. And so what sucks is like, I was just like, okay, so Friday I'm there, Saturday, Friday's build day, Saturday shoot, Sunday shoot. And I of course booked something Saturday. So I was all morning on a gig booking, but it was great. It was so much fun. It was an interactive project, which is super dope. And it was beautiful out. So I was cool with it. It wasn't as smoky as the day before. So I was happy about that. Thanks, Canada. Hey girl. But so I wasn't in danger from the environment. Not more than I normally am. And then then we shot the whole thing. So we were literally exhausted driving here. I mean, it's at least almost 6 hours to get down here by car. It can be longer, but it wasn't. We drove the speed limit and we got here really fast. And it's been
because there was no traffic at
because
all.
somehow no one was there. It was just us in the road, and it was really great.
Love.
We got here, and it's been just so relaxing. We did everything from, watch the fireworks. Like where I grew up in high school is a development that was made in the 70s by these like new age guys, and it's called Brander Mill, and it's in
Yeah.
Virginia. It's like well known from the commute housing developmental / design spec, and it's in Virginia. And what it is a community where they created a reservoir, like man-made, but it's very real now. It's teeming with life as it has been since the 70s, but they made a community around it with like houses that were built with the trees, not cutting them down, but in the trees, kind of like every backyard is like littered with trees, and it's not, you don't feel like they bulldoze shit and then put houses. They put, I think, 3,000 something houses, and inside of this development are bike paths, a golf course, a boat, marina, all this like really interesting stuff in the middle of like Virginia. And it's a very interesting community, and there's schools, there's pools, 3 of them. So yeah, it's been really interesting to come back here and kind of remember how middle school, high school, I lived in a very curated, but not Pleasantville, but like a weird, at the time in the 70s, like very new agey in the woods, cool community.
I
So
love that. Oh,
it
into
was
the
interesting.
woods. Into
Yeah.
the woods.
The
Into the
woods to find
woods.
us. But yeah, so especially coming from like first Baltimore and then nowhere, Maryland, and then Tennessee briefly, we were like, help. I love Tennessee, but I don't love where we were. So it was really weird. Anyway, my point is that Mike has been able to see this in the summer, because usually he's only here in the winter, like Christmas time. So we get to do all the outdoor realness, like seeing the fireworks over the water at the boat basin. And I don't know if you saw any fireworks, but it was pretty iconic. I'm obviously, I'm not like, yay, America, you're really killing it right now. But I also am like, you gotta celebrate something.
Rooting for you, girl.
Yeah, where we hope you get it together,
Fix your
bitch.
shit. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
same. I was with my parents and we saw some fireworks. There was like the country club that is like a couple miles behind our house. They were shooting them off and we could see them from the backyard. So we just kind of like, we were enjoying the country club without being at the country club.
Yeah, the country
Never
club.
in my life. We had our prom at the country club. That's the only time I've
That's
ever
so
been.
funny. I never see what sucks is like growing up, my dad, I never went to really the country club unless my dad was golfing. And then I could be like sneaking with my friends and be like, yeah, my dad's name is David Seeds. His number is blank. I know his number. And we coming in, and then we just hang out at that pool, because that was such a better pool compared to every other pool. And then you can rack up food and drinks on his tab. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. As my cousin says, thanks, wallet. That's what she calls her dad.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So fucked, but it's so funny because she's a stitch. She's a hardworking gal, but she still calls her dad wallet as a joke, because like in high school she was kind of a terror. So it's hilarious.
I mean, weren't we all?
Weren't we all? But yeah, it was really fun. We went to the pool there actually. We went to saw the fireworks. We've been going on like downtown Richmond, which is a cute little city. Very, very it's so funny. It's very hipster, very liberal, cute little city. But compared to New York, it's like so small, but it's so cute.
Yeah. No, I
We
get
do
that. There's
brunch.
a bunch of little towns by my parents that like, if you go into them, like I think like downtown Harrisburg or like downtown Carlisle, it feels very, or even like downtown Anvil, it feels very like Brooklyn suburbs.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Like the big downtown feels like Brooklyn. And I'm like,
Yeah.
let's go to Carey Street and we're gonna go to Plan 9. We got some vinyl. We got like so much more records.
Yeah.
And then we met we met a couple, like a friend of mine who's been my best friend since middle school. He's engaged now, so we met his fiance and had like a fun little thing. So it was really fun. We did brunch yesterday. We went to a bazaar, which is like an open market down here to look at
I
trade.
love stuff like that.
I know it's so like
It's so cool. Why do we not do that shit
why don't we
anymore?
do that? What is up with us? Because there's green markets in New
What is
York we
up
could
with
be
that?
doing. Yeah,
We
what's up
could.
with
I know. I really do love the Union Square farmers market that happens. I
Yeah.
think it's like Wednesday and Saturday, or just I don't know when it is. But I always like happen to like just stumble upon it when I'm down there.
Same.
The rare times that I'm down there. And every single time it's like, what a delight.
It is a delight. And we have one up by us that I love in Inwood. It's actually
I've
really
never been to that
beautiful.
one either.
Oh my gosh. So I had a day where I was going to so Aaron in Inwood Artworks, who does like the Inwood Film Festival and everything, he's
Yeah.
wonderful. He invited me to be on his podcast because it's always like a local voice who's an artist he puts on his podcast. It's really fun. And as I was walking to the venue to do the podcast, which is in an old church, it's so cool up in Inwood, I walked through the market and I was like, I'm an idiot. Why don't I ever do
Oh,
this?
I
I'm so
know. What?
happy.
Yeah, well, and like my friend Dan lives up here too. He's a brilliant like orchestrator, pianist,
Mm.
musician. Love him, Dan Pardo. Shout out. He
Mm.
lives closer to it
Oh, Dan lives up
than we
here?
do. Yeah, he does. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah. We should
Who
all hang out with
doesn't
him.
now? Let's
I
go.
know. I get messages from people all the time. They're like, "Wait, you live in Washington Heights now?"
Yeah,
I
and you're
just
like,
ran into my friend Tom on the subway the other day, and for the last like 5 years of my life, in my brain, he lived in Astoria. He was like, "I've never lived in Astoria." I was like, "I don't know why I thought you
never
did."
loved her. Yeah, never knew her.
But he lives up by us.
That's
I
wonderful.
know. So we're like building people around here.
And people are just flocking, because like, if you think about it, we're in Manhattan. It's the last, it's like still in Manhattan. Everywhere we can go is so easy to get to. We're in Midtown
Yeah.
in like 20 minutes. We don't really have to try. And the prices aren't like what they are downtown. They're going up though. Let's not be
There,
rude. They're
I'm getting my
spicy.
I'm getting my lease renewal this month, and I am
Oof.
terrified. I'm fucking terrified. Like,
No,
only because like there was that fire in my building a couple months ago, and they've finished renovating everything and fixing what they should have done in the first place. And the apartment that is across the air shaft from me is the same layout but opposite, and it is now 2,600 on the market. And I'm like, oh fuck, if they try to fuck me
oh my God.
like
And you're
that,
not rent
like
stabilized or no?
I honestly I don't know.
Cool.
I wanted this apartment so bad when I moved in. I was like bending over backwards to get it. Like
Okay.
I gave up like 3 months of rent. I made them give me a 2-year lease. Like, and
Mhm.
that's what I want to renew on. But I'm so nervous that like,
That is nerve-wracking.
yeah. But then the other thing is too, even if it is 2,600 a month, like, do I want to pay that? No. But like, will it cost less in the long run than moving?
Yes.
And the answer is yes. And I
Moving
hate
is a bitch.
it's a bitch. It cost me, I think moving cost me almost $8,000 or $9,000.
Yeah, it's kind of messy how in this, my move wasn't as bad because I think I was a kind of adjoining someone else, but
Right.
getting my roommate, to out and then getting all my stuff. I've donated a lot of my stuff to that person. And also I donated a lot of big, heavy things to people. And I'm in a 5-floor walk up. It was pretty over Christmas.
Intense. I know. Well,
What's
and
wrong with
also,
me?
well, but part of that cost that I'm
Moving?
considering is like it was first month, last
Christmas
month,
last month.
security. And then I also was going from a studio to a 1-bedroom. So I had all this space and no furniture. So I had to like get stuff.
Fill her
And
out.
I was pretty like frugal about it. I was pretty good. There's like a good balance of things in here that were like not cheap, but then there's stuff in here, a lot of stuff in here that was just free. But
See?
the idea of moving makes me want to gag. And
Oh, moving
so
is one of the worst things that ever happened. It's ever going to happen to anyone.
I
Moving is
know, like in my mind, it's like whatever this renewal says, I'm just gonna re-sign it.
like, have you been divorced? Yep. Have you moved? Yep. Which one do you rather do again? Fuck it, divorce. I don't care. I don't want.
Divorce, yeah. Well, that's why I was in my last apartment for so long. I was in that apartment for 10 years.
Same.
And
I get it.
my current living room is bigger than my old apartment. And
Mark.
I was living, it was someone else's, and I was renting from them. But it
Right.
was on the hush, so everything was in cash. And I was supposed to keep a low profile in the building, but like I'm
You're
enormous.
you.
Like that's impossible to
But
do.
also your personality is actually you actually have one.
Right. And so like there was some tax thing going on with her with the apartment and claiming it as something and whatever. So whatever the case is, I tolerated all of that nonsense for a decade, like, and she would come and go, and we had a whole thing where she was like, oh, I need to be at the apartment today, and so I would just like leave, or I'd be at work, and it mostly didn't matter. But that
It's
was
not like
kind
her
of
space, and it's very like
it.
it's almost like
It wasn't, and half the apartment was her stuff, and so like, she didn't even want me to have a bed in there really for the first, like, I think 2 years that I was living there. And I was fine with that because I just come out of cancer. I just moved into the apartment. It was really, really affordable, like
yeah,
super unheard of affordable.
yeah,
And it was for me a transitional apartment because I was in recovery and I was still trying
right.
to figure out what my life was going to look like. And then I just got comfortable. And like, after a while, I was like, can I just get a bed in here, please? And that was like at the 3 or 4 year mark.
Where did you sleep? On a
There was
couch?
no, there was like a really nice like fold out futon that like I broke a couple times. But those things are not built to
They're
last,
not
and
built to anything. They're
they're
built to
not.
like they're
They're
built
built
to
to
look
break.
at. Yeah.
Yeah, they're built for a semester and that's it.
Yeah, they are. They're built for
But
college.
like, I mean, even this couch right here behind me, this is a fold out, and I didn't realize that when I bought it, but like it folds down, and this is the one that broke all of
Yeah,
a sudden out of fucking nowhere,
yeah.
and I had to buy that monstrosity. So it was like, okay, well, whatever.
Here we go.
Here we
Put it on
go.
put it on my
But
tab.
yeah, but I was thinking about this yesterday, and I can be mad at myself about this all I want, but I was there for 10 years and I didn't save fucking anything,
Oh
like I
man.
was paying absolutely nothing. And what I did in that circumstance was like, I only worked when I had to, and I focused on creative stuff.
Yeah.
And all the money that I did make, I
Went
used to
to.
move creative stuff forward.
So what
And
would you do? What
so
would you do differently at this point? I mean, obviously I don't believe in regrets, and I also don't believe in anything other than like learning lessons. What would you do now differently?
if I was moving into that apartment now, I think what I would have done is just gotten accustomed to working full time, like full time, and maybe having multiple jobs on top of that.
Yeah.
And just even if I just saved, 10% of what I was making every single year,
Yeah.
I would own an apartment right now.
Right.
And like that just was such foolishness on my end. But I was also like not in that headspace. I wasn't okay.
No,
I
you
spent
weren't.
half the time that I lived there not okay because of cancer. And then the
Yeah.
other half of the time that I lived there, I was not okay because of the living circumstance. So, I just don't think that the idea of saving up that amount of money during that period of time for where I was at is realistic.
No,
So
I don't even.
I can look back at it all I want and be like, oh, you idiot. But at the same time, like, let's be real.
I agree. And I think too, it's like it's very dangerous when we look back at our lives and we're like, I could have, should have, would have. It's just so past. It's not even active. It's just like beating yourself about something that's already done. It's like the only thing we can do is just be like, okay, well, in the future, I know that like, when an opportunity comes, how would I react to that opportunity? Where, how would
Yeah,
I?
and it's being conscious of that.
Yes.
Like
And
I
that's
have
how
a
you become a rich bitch, is just being conscious of your choice.
Yeah, and like I have a good friend who lives up here as well. They're not in town at the moment, but they bartend 3 days a week. They live in like a 4 bedroom apartment that they share with three people, and like it's a cool space.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know how much money they save. I don't think it's a lot, but their rent's really cheap. I think the whole apartment, they've been there for so long. I think the whole apartment he told me was like 16 or 1700
For
for
4 bedrooms.
yeah, because they've been there forever. And so like he only works 3 days a week and is comfortable with that, and that's great.
Yeah.
And in my mind, like that's a very similar situation that I was in before, minus roommates and the
Yeah.
space and the square
Yeah.
footage of it all. But like to me, that's like, oh my God, work like 80 hours a week for 2 years and just save up enough money to like buy
Yeah.
a place.
Literally
But I don't know. It's easier to say that when you're not in it.
doing it. Yeah, no,
Because when
life
you're
is
in
so
it,
weird
it's
like
like,
that.
yeah, in hindsight, yeah, sure, I should have saved about $100,000 in the 10 years that I was living there, but like, I didn't.
You also lived your life, you know what I mean? And like
I
you had
did.
experiences you wouldn't have had otherwise. And I think
Yeah.
even just to circle back, like being with family, like I don't get home, I don't get, it's not home, New York's home, but I don't get back to
Right.
Virginia more than a few times a year. So I need to be better at that. That's a conscious decision. I think I need to do more. And just being around them. You know, my parents went out to dinner just with them last night, me and Mike and them, and it was just so wonderful. And then we did s'mores out back and fireworks, some more
Oh, I
fire.
love.
We have a fire pit that's really cute. They have a fire pit.
That's so cute.
Yeah, so like stuff like that is making me, you know, there's the way that we can run our lives, and then there's the way that we did the best we could, and we look at what we're doing now and what can we do to be more holistically happy and everything. And I think honestly, for your sanity, for your creativity, for your health, you just had to do it that way, you know?
Yeah, well, and it really is like the mental health journey of coming out of something traumatic like that. Like
Yes,
I really truly believe like the first like 4 or 5 years of being in like fresh out of that was like a whole hot mess.
of course. And
And
I think my mom's dealing with, you know, she rang the bell for her. I'm clear in 2018, but she's still dealing with a lot of the repercussions
I mean,
and
of course she is. Like fuck. I mean, it fucks your life up. You know, and it's that thing that I always say about surviving cancer is harder than fighting it. You know, it's
yes.
fucked up. Um, you know, and I just think back, like I was getting these jobs. I had this job at the Lotus Club, which is this
Mm,
beautiful place on 66 and 5th. It's an
mm,
old Vanderbilt house, and they turned it into a private club. Gloria Vanderbilt was a member.
work.
Um,
Is it a women's club?
no,
Used to be, I thought. I guess it's
no,
not.
it was all men. They didn't let women in until like the 70s, I think.
Cute.
They have
Okay,
like
that
they
sounds
have like
that tracks. Why did I
right.
even think that? It's
They
fine.
have a front lounge that was all red that women could stay in, but they weren't allowed to go anywhere else.
You
It's
whores get in the red room, bitch. Yeah, it's
right. Get in there. I used to nap in there because I worked overnight sometimes. Um, it'd be like 2 a.m. like, all right, I'm gonna go to sleep now.
yeah, I love that though.
Um, but you know, I was only working there 3 days a week, making $20 an hour,
Work.
and that's all I needed.
I get it.
And so I had, you know, and I didn't work until nighttime. So I basically had 7 days off a week, and I just worked like 4 to midnight, the end.
Wow, 4 to midnight. That's such a time.
It was a great time. I had a good time doing that. And in a way, I kind of miss it.
That's how
Um,
like bartending was for me. It was like that those hours. I mean, I was there for only for 2 years. Once I hit like 23, 24, I was like, I can't be doing this. I
yeah,
can't do this. This lifestyle is not it because I'm going to auditions in the early mornings and I look like, you know, and I'm not, you know what I mean? I wasn't in the union yet and I wasn't, you know, there's certain things I think I love now that, and this is just something to say, it's like, I love that now my priorities are more about whole being healthy in the, you know, drinking water, eating when I, you know, properly. I've been a vegan now for like 10 years, but it was like a shift I had to make, or 12 years shit. Okay. But you know what I mean?
yeah.
Where, and also like sleeping is important, and you know, skin regimen. I have like 7 steps now I do. It's so stupid and
For those of
overdone.
you who have been asking about my skincare routine,
I mean, have you asked?
she's
Anyway.
glowing. Yeah, I hear you. And
Yeah.
it really is a priority change. And I think that's one of the things that I'm struggling with now is because like, you know, and I say struggling, I'm not like, "Oh, I'm struggling. I just mean like it's a mind game.
It is
We're
everything.
like, yeah, we're like, I'm temping right now, and I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Like, do I want a big fancy creative corporate job that pays me 6 figures a year? Absolutely. And I'm still looking for it. But at the same time, there's part of me, especially with movement that's going on with my pilot, which we'll get
Right.
to,
Mm-hmm.
like, I just get some like brainless fucking job that pays like 30 an hour or something like that, and like make rent and minimal everything else, and like not worry about saving and just charge forward with this because
Yeah.
this is working, you
Yeah.
know. And we've talked about this before where like the work life balance here is like work is a holy hot fucking train wreck mess right now. Like it has been for months, almost a year, and I'm just only now really coming
Oh,
out of that
right.
mental space
Yeah.
and being able to pursue other things from like a place where I don't feel fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And so now it's like, yes, I've been applying for all these like really fancy, great jobs that like some of which I'm overqualified for. And I look at the sticker on them and I'm like, seriously, you're
Yeah.
paying that for this? And it's like, and then the opposite of that too. Like there are job listings on Playbill that people are still paying like 19, 18, 19, $20 an hour for. And it's like, fuck off.
Not even,
Um,
well, I mean, it is, but it's
I'm
like
not leaving the house for like less than 30.
30.
And like that's not even, you know, which I'm doing right now, but that's a different story. Um, you
Yeah.
know, but like it's just kind of deciding like, do I still want to pursue the one thing, or do I want to just get something dumb that doesn't take up brain space so that I can use all of my energy on the thing that is working?
Yes. Yeah.
And like part of me is leaning towards that.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's whatever works for us. Like I've kind of gotten to the thing of where I have, side things that I run, like, whether it's my pitch deck business, whether it's voiceover, whether it's producing stuff or whatever, while I'm acting, while I'm doing all the things. I need to have like some big things to just be like, okay, let's make money while I put money back into movies or back into things I'm making or back into my art classes and my acting classes and my, whatever. It's just like things that really matter to me. And then so I can have a weekend, and do whatever I want. So I can come to my parents' house for 7 days and it's not going to destroy my life. It's like whatever,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
finding that balance.
Well, and you've done this so successfully and so beautifully, and I continue to be jealous of it until it happens for me. But like being able to work for yourself solely and only, and being able to be like,
And
yeah,
if I
I
am
don't,
hired or whatever, it's an independent contractor. It has
of
nothing to do,
course,
like
right,
I'm not and beholden to them other than what I'm there to do.
right, and so like that's kind of the life that I want to live, and like
It is.
obviously that's not going to happen with a big fancy corporate job, but like it's
Tell your pilot, get your
I'm
pilot
sorry, right,
ready. Yeah,
exactly. Well, and
and
that's
then make your pilot. By the way, great job on your work so far. Sorry, I
thank
haven't
you.
done all of it yet. It's
Oh
been
my
a
God, don't even
while.
apologize. You're fine. I'm sitting in an office all day with my thumb up my ass. Like it's fine.
Yeah, I'm doing
Um,
a lot of stuff right now, but I think your pilot is really special. And I think too, just as someone who's made pilots, who critiques pitch decks and who makes them, and like also ideas, like I think it's a fabulous thing. And I think that um especially like just reading what you've already done from what we've been doing, it's just really it's popping off the page. And I think that it's definitely worth making.
thank
It's so you too.
you.
It's so you, and you're bringing yourself to it. You're
Yeah,
bringing yourself, which is what you need to do to something creatively, not to the extent of like, no, my baby, no, no, but like to the extent of like
right.
make it yours. So it's something unique and different because everybody's different. Everybody's different. And
Yeah,
if when people lose their creativity into something, that's when the thing doesn't get made or it doesn't pop off the page because they're trying to kowtow to different. It's like bringing yourself to something, but not at the expense of not making it,
right. Well, and that's also something I talk to my social media clients about as well. Like, stop
Yeah.
trying to create for the algorithm.
Yes.
Create for
That's
you.
mindless. Who are you?
Mindless. Well, and
Where's
it's
your
also
identity? Who are you?
exactly, but then it also becomes so generic that you're not attracting the right people, or you're not attracting anybody because you're not doing you. You're trying to follow trends and trend chase, and then whatever. So too the same goes for writing. If you write something that you think is trendy, that people like, that's going to be commercially satisfying to sell, like yeah, sure, maybe you'll sell it, but it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be
It
good.
doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a heart.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like watching. I'm in season 3 now of the other two, and
Mm,
the reason why I started watching it is because this woman I've known for years and years. She was a producer on it. It was her first like TV producer thing.
oh,
She's been a location manager and a location scout for major networks and major projects that you've absolutely heard of and watched for the last, I don't know, 20 years of her life.
wow.
And she and I had a meeting the other night, and she wants in on producing my pilot, which is great. I'm so fucking excited about it. And she's such a
Amazing.
baddie. The two of you are either going to hate each other or absolutely
I think we'll
fucking
love each
love
other.
each
I
other.
love strong
I'm
women.
I'm nearly certain you are. She's like from Jersey, and she's just like big hair,
Fabulous.
lipstick. I love her. She's the
Okay,
best.
great. Love her already.
Yeah. Her name's Sasha. She's fucking
Mark.
cool. So she's on board, and I wanted to make sure that I was watching the other two before we actually met, because it's the most
Yeah.
recent thing that she's done. And like the uniqueness and the jump off the page and like of all of that is so good. And like
Yeah.
the commentary on how fucked up the music industry is and how everything else is, and like there's
You know
there's
what the
this.
Idol tried to do? Oh, I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah, well, yeah, we've discussed that before, but like this is done in like such a fun, campy kind of way.
Yes, we need that.
Right, where like the sister is like out of her mind, but like also kind of brilliant. And the brother is just kind of like this delusional sad sack, but like we love him. And the pop star brother, who kind of fades into the background in season 3 a little bit, is trying to reclaim his own, and like he's not a good singer and no one wants to tell him that. And so he's like doing product placement and like creating brands and stuff because he has no
Ooh,
talent otherwise. It's such a funny
it's very
commentary
good.
on
That's very a
all of
lot of
it.
commentary just from that description.
It's brilliant. And I'm not even scratching the tip of the iceberg here.
Yeah,
Like
that's
it's
great. See, that's
so
what you want to do is like from the get, people are like, well, okay, yeah, this is saying
it's
something.
really,
But
really
also it's
smart.
fun and enjoyable to watch. Like what? Why can't
Exactly.
that be something that everyone's doing? Like just be fun.
Well, and that's exactly what I want to do with mine too. Like I want it to be fun. Yeah, like yes, it's serious subject matter and there will be serious moments, but like I
Sure.
want it to be a circus. And
I love that.
the same, and that's why people want to watch it. So
I agree.
anyway, inadvertently, that's the update on what's going on with
Well,
that.
that's great. So, and I think too, like the more we speak into existence, like what we want,
Yeah.
like you're talking about your creative process with this. I'm a creator as well, but my big thing is acting. Like that's my love, and it just every time I book something that's just me being a character, really embodying it and feeling that is my real love. And I'm glad that like in the last year, there's been some big things here and there that have come my way as an actor that, again, it's like having rep. That's red tape. You need your reps. I have them, but it's also self-submitting. It's also following up with people that you've met that are the casting director for what show you're obsessed with. Like there's certain cast directors I'm like, hey girl, and like, hey girl, and all of a sudden I'll be called in for like amazing show. It's like very important to do all that, especially if that's your passion and dream. Like my number one thing is I love being a creator, obviously, because it's like, can we tell stories that like people want to watch and hear that aren't just like, oh wow, it's another show about a crime. Well, we know what it is, but it's in Indiana. See, it's different.
Oh, right. Well, and
Um,
that always cracks me up too, because like it again, that points to the whole like creating for the algorithm or creating for what you think is
yes,
going to sell. Like, of course, true crime is going to sell. Everybody loves true
of
crime, but like,
course, and we
unless you're
love
going to do
that, but
something actually different with it, like, Jesus
well, that's
Christ.
why the networks are just like, okay, it's, you know, I love, by the way, Law and Order SVU, Mariska Hargitay is an icon and a legend. So I'm not,
Icon, love.
but I'm saying it's been done. So why do we keep doing like blank blank version 5, blank blank version
Yeah.
6?
Well, and what was it like? There was that
And that's going
series.
to happen more now that everything, and just update on strike, everything in LA has been pretty much shut down, all the new stuff.
Yeah.
It's just going to keep recycling until they pay up and they actually like have creatives be supported in their ideas.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, also to that point as well, I mean, there was a couple years where there was nothing but hospital shows. Like obviously
And because
ER
Grey's
kicked
Anatomy
it
changed
off
the game and they just
and
follow
Grey's
that
right.
formula.
Exactly. And it's like there's what is that commentary that I think Amy Poehler made at the Golden Globes one with Tina Fey one year, or was it the
What a great
Oscars? I
year.
don't remember.
All the years that they did it. Great.
Yeah, but she was like, and just like Hollywood, we're just gonna keep doing the same thing until everybody hates it.
Yep. Literally. Literally. I mean, look what
Yeah.
happened. Like everything was zombies after The Walking Dead. Then everything was blah blah blah. It's just like what happens. And I think, but the trendsetters were always creative people that started it. Shonda Rhimes
Exactly.
started the hospital thing, and then it was like, oh shit. I mean, I know ER existed before this, blah blah blah, but the real drama, campiness of it all, hospital drama, Shonda Rhimes, and she came from, she came out of the woodwork, and I was like, whoa. And same thing with like The Walking Dead. Like, there were zombie shows before that, but they were, and then that came out and it changed the genre. Or then like superhero, they made an actually good superhero movie that was like Robert Downey Jr. being an incredible actor that he is, being Iron Man, and then that made everything go, oh shit. Or like Nolan decided, hey, I'm gonna actually tackle superhero after doing trippy shit for years. I'm gonna do Batman. And then you're like, oh wow. And like then everybody's like superheroes, and so it's like
Superhero.
superheroes. And so it's like that's my thing, is like we can do all that, but think about every single time that something started a trend, it was a creative human being doing something different.
Yeah.
Everything
Well,
else that
and I
followed
think
was
a copy. Yeah, well, and I think now like we're making another Superman. Like, okay, and this is like the 10th Superman in my lifetime.
right.
We're on how many Spider-Mans? Like Jesus Christ.
I
Like
know.
since the Tobey Maguire of it all, like how many have we
Yes,
had?
it's the
Like
Tobey Maguire of it all.
I have not watched any of them that are not Tobey Maguire.
And I
And
have
we're on
watched.
Jurassic Park 5 now. Like,
Oh, I
come
don't.
on. Don't get
Please,
me
I don't
started.
want to even talk about Jurassic Park. I don't want to even speak on it. Now,
Yeah.
that being said, if I get cast in Jurassic Park 7,
Like
work,
I'll
I'm
do it.
in.
Yeah, absolutely. Give it to me.
Do it. Like we're in. But my point is that like So all that is good and great, and people are ingesting that content and they're enjoying it. If they are, great, love that. But I think when we come to like what we're speaking of is like a creative, when you want to be a fire starter, you can't be copying the same shit. It's the same thing with social media. It's the same thing with features and pilots and all that good TikToks, everything. If you're just copying something, it's just, you want to make your mark, and that's not
Yeah.
the way to do it. Be
Well, and
genuine.
I think the kind of like
It's empowering to do your own shit.
the non-intuitive thing to do in that situation is like put your blinders on, like stop looking at what other people are doing, because you're automatically going to like compare yourself to them and what
Don't.
they're doing, and then it gets into your head of like, oh well, maybe I should try that, and like maybe blah, blah, blah. Stop it. Like, what do you want to do? Turn off all the screens and all the things, and just
Yes.
sit down with yourself with a pen and paper and do it analog and just write it out
Or
of
make a
what you
pitch deck of it, like organize.
right, exactly.
There's a talk
Yes,
again, not to plug myself, but there's a talk, it's free too, and I'm giving away free
I just
stuff.
sent it to someone the other day.
Great. The whole point of it for me to make that wasn't for me to get more pitch deck people, because I already was getting clients by word of mouth. It was really just because I wanted people to feel empowered that their ideas are great, and that there's no reason they shouldn't be making this. There's just no reason.
Although I will say, in the other two, there is an episode where to get an agent, the brother has to have a feature. And so
Mhm.
he gives him, like, the agent gives him like 3 days to send him the script. And so he's like, I'm a writer now. And so he like
I love that.
goes out and buys a notepad and he writes down like gay, my dad hated me, or mean dad, and then like something else. And he goes to buy this notebook, and the person at the checkout, I think it's supposed to be like the drama bookshop or something.
Yeah.
The person at the checkout is like, oh, I'm doing a play here. It's called whatever, you should come. He's like, I'm not going to go. And then he's out writing. He's like, well, maybe I should go, because to be inspired, I need to see inspiring things, whatever. So he goes there. It's a one-man show. And this guy walks out and he's like, I'm gay and I had a mean dad. And he basically just says everything that the guy wrote down. And he was like, oh shit.
It's like, wow, that's different. But see,
It
the
was
thing
so
is,
good.
like, that's wonderful, and that's so true, because like I've actually had like ideas where like I'll have an idea, and then I'll actually have a friend be like, you can't make that. They already did something near that. And I'm like, no, but they didn't do it like how I would do it.
Right. Well, and there's the two-way street of this. It's like create something that no one else is creating. But if it's similar to something else that's made,
Right.
like, I mean, we can talk about mine. Like, yes, there are other musical pilots that are out
Mm.
there, and like
Yeah.
Schmacago is very, very too far in that direction, doing what I want to do. And yeah, I could sit here and be like, oh, I can't make this because it's not,
Yeah, but
Schmacago's
that's
already doing
dumb.
it. It's so dumb because it's nothing like mine.
Shut
It's the
up.
same kind of medium and it might be a similar format, but it's not the same.
It's not
And I
this.
I just learned, Sasha told me the other day, actually, there's a show on Hulu called Up There, and it's also a musical about this woman, I think, who hears voices in her head, and it's a musical. And I'm like, that's amazing. And
Yeah.
also Crazy Ex-Girlfriend already did that with mental health.
Yeah.
However, it's being done again, and I'm sure it's great. I haven't watched it yet, but it's good. I mean, it's good for me because we're keeping these musical TV shows happening.
Yeah.
And so that just makes another avenue for me. And like looking at things that other people are doing is helpful in the sense that you can see, okay, this is how I can pursue this, and this is how I can get this done.
But it shouldn't be discouraging. It should
But it
never
shouldn't
be
be
like
just it
an
never.
excuse to, okay, because like the world, we know this, human beings will always find an excuse to not do something. So if you use that shit and you buy into that shit, you're screwing up, because there's no reason why you shouldn't make something. Also, I was told for Dr. Seeds, like, it was so weird and different that no one's gonna want it, and then they did. So
Oh my
everyone's
God.
stupid.
Also, shout out to my dad, because when I was home for 4th of July, he was telling me that he watched all of the episodes on YouTube that are there. And I was like, those are the short ones. You have
Those
to
are the
get the
old
real
ones.
one.
Those are not it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, and he was like, it's so bizarre. I was like, just wait until you see the real one.
Yeah, the real thing. Yeah, it's on
So,
Plex. So if
Matt,
everyone wants to see the real one, so I don't have it on YouTube because that wasn't picked up by YouTube. It was picked up
right.
by Amazon, and then when the contract ended, we got picked up on Plex TV. So if you want to see the real one, yeah, I'm considering taking down the YouTube ones, but I just love them so much. I don't want to
I
confuse
mean,
people.
maybe leave a couple there if you
Yeah, there's
want,
only a
but like,
couple.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, I mean, whatever. I don't know. But you've made a new fan in my dad.
Great. I love that your dad loves it. Your
Oh
dad
yeah,
is
he
loving this
was
content.
listening to episodes while I was at home.
Yes.
It was great. Shout out to Matt
We all
Miskey.
need your dad. That's what we need. We need a
Yeah,
dad like your dad.
truly, he's great.
Your
But
dad's great.
but yeah, so
But
actually
props
let's
to your dad.
right, props to my dad. Let's talk about what you know about updates for
Sure.
SAG
Sure,
WGA
sure, sure, sure.
situations.
Well, there was a hit piece that came out, and I'm going to call it that, on Deadline about Fran Drescher today, I think, or yesterday. That's just the AMPTP being shady. Just going to tell you that now. There is no reason that she's being dragged about the vax stuff by anti-vaxxers. It doesn't really make any sense. So like the people that are named, I don't want to get sued, but the people are named in the article, on the Deadline article, are like dragging her for not doing enough about vaccine mandates and blah 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 blah, when in reality she did so much, and the reason nothing happened is because everyone else was like no. So it's so funny that she's getting critiqued by people that the one thing she didn't fully cohesively agree with me, and I'm in her, and I was in her party, and I'm going to be in her party, and I think she's done a really great job with a lot of things. I don't agree with, I agree that if a producer wants to have a vaccine, it doesn't even matter anymore now, but for the years that it did, if a producer or company, the way it was set up is if a producer wants to, or a company wants to make it so you have to have a vaccine to be on their set because they want to keep people safe. I don't find that to be wrong. But I think she has feelings about that, and that's great. I'm not going to speak for her, but the people that they name in this article that are trying to run against her, and that their opinions are like, she didn't do enough. I'm like, y'all, she tried a lot. It's just that we're all like, no. So you can fucking, it's just weird because they're kind of create a divide inside of our union that's kind of
Yeah.
made, it's not really a thing. It didn't really like it, this hasn't culminated in arguments really. This hasn't even culminated in like so to see these people named that are just running against her, what this was made, I think, to disrupt SAG-AFTRA in general, to make it look
Yeah.
like we aren't getting along, or make it look like our leadership is divided, or
Well,
we're
I'm looking at it now and it reads, I'm just skimming it, but it reads very much like they're scared and this is their tactic to try and
Yep.
like get some power back by like
Yep.
trying to smear the person who's ahead of it. Because
Yep.
like what they're saying is that basically because of her cancer schemancer
Yeah.
history and the
Yeah.
book that she put out and all of that, and then claiming that the vaccines somehow are linked to
That
cancers.
someone else says that. She doesn't say that, right?
Right. No, exactly. So like they're pointing fingers at her for this and then saying that she um was like somehow acting nefariously on the end of like it doesn't read like it
She's
makes
done
sense.
everything above board. Even when I disagree with her, she's done everything completely above board. She's done everything to have meetings about stuff and talk about everyone and how they feel. And so I don't really understand it at all. I think the piece is so weird. And I also think too, it's like focusing on like, well, she didn't do enough. And I'm like, bro, I don't even know.
Literally everything shut down. What did you want her
What
to
did
do?
you
Like
want her to, and we had more meetings during shutdown than any time. Also, I mean, I can attest to that. And so I think it's kind of like, it was just such a weird thing to come out. So anyway, what I'm saying is, AMPTP is trying it. They're trying it. So they're also putting people in the comments of certain Instagrams. You can tell it's just the same thing, copy paste. They're like, why didn't we strike on the 30th? Like we voted for. And it's like, well, we voted for strike authorization when deliberations were over. They're
which
not
they're not
over
over
yet.
yet, but they will be in 3
But there will
days.
be literally like 3 days, and I think we're probably going to strike them. But I truly believe that if someone, first off, then the leadership that we have, and first off, that room is filled with, I mean, literally the room that is doing deliberations, and I forget what it's called, but like they're talking to the executives, trying to negotiating committee. Everyone in that negotiation team come from different factions from the past of like, maybe we didn't, maybe we were this group and that group, but everyone's come together. In fact, I don't know if people know this, but the two big slates in LA, one of which I've been on the winning team for years, and there's big one in New York, and we all just get along. But there's two big factions in LA. They've merged now together. Everyone's getting along. That's why this article was so stupid. I was like, everyone is getting along in the union. Everyone in leadership is getting along. And some people have different opinions, some people blah blah. But if the negotiating committee helmed by all these really intelligent, highly effective actors. Some are named, some are not, some are constantly working, some have worked in the past, some are just now working. It doesn't matter. It's all a really diverse pool of people. Some are stunts, some are voiceovers, some are music, some are dancers, some are whatever. It's such a great negotiating team of smart human beings. If they're telling us, give us 2 more weeks, we're on. That's why they're saying, because they're on to something. Now,
Right.
why are you mad? Because the whole point of us doing the strike authorization was to avoid a strike, y'all. It wasn't so we would have one, because strikes are hard. Strikes are rough. The reason we voted for strike authorization is so we walked in the room saying, hey, if you don't do what we want, we literally have a strike ready for you. It's a tactic. It's so they go, oh shit, we don't want them to strike. So if they're extending it by just 2 weeks, let's be real, that means they were onto something. And I wholeheartedly, that was their job, to negotiate. The negotiator's job is to negotiate, not to walk in and strike. I don't understand this.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I also think that it's another brilliant tactic I saw last night on social media, that they've already made strike signs. Like
Yep.
they're basically saying like, we're ready to go, bitch.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, it's very united. So to see, again, I'm not going to speak of this again. Deadline is always a big miss. A lot of times they do shit like this, and it's just rough, because it's like, guys, you're just trying to the AMT PTV is trying to make us look like weirdos, like we don't get along, when it's literally the current president. None of the established people that are in it are even in that article. It's just people randomly running against her randomly and quoting them as if it's Bible, which I hate saying that because the Bible's crazy, but you know what I mean? As if it's like, she didn't do this, and I feel that way, and I'm just saying it. And then the Deadline's like, great, I love that, because I could say cut cuckoo cuckoo shit and then make it look weird. But anyway, my point is that we're very united. To extend for 2 weeks shouldn't make everyone want to flip tables, because the fact of the matter is, we literally voted for strike authorization so we could do it if we need to do it, and it was supposed to deter them from us becoming people that don't have work like we normally do. But if we do strike, bravo, because that's what we have to do. So in a couple days, we probably will. I can guess that we will. But I don't
But
understand
it could
at all.
go really well, and then we won't have to.
And then we get everything we freaking wanted. Like, I don't
Right.
understand. Like, and then the whole discourse is very interesting. And also like some of the comments of the people I see that are like, this is ridiculous. Like, where they're being easy on them. I was like, are you in the room? We
Right.
could be
Like,
yelling at each other all day. Like, you don't know what's
right.
happening.
It could be like WWF in
Also,
there.
it's good to see you. I've never met you before. I've never seen you at any meetings, and I've never seen you ever like anywhere. So it's
Yeah.
really
Well,
weird.
it's always the ones that are the least active that are the
Active.
most vocal. You know, that happens with Actors Equity too. The people that are like screaming the loudest are the ones who don't vote, they don't show up, they don't do the things, they don't work, they have no jobs. Like,
Right.
they have not.
My
It's
thing is, you
just
can
like,
have an opinion. I love
right,
that.
of course, have your opinion.
But to be angry at people for doing the actual job that we hired them to do, which is negotiate, instead of just going, fuck it, strike, like, is so stupid. Like, it just
Right.
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's like, but anyway, so my update is this. If we're going to know in just a couple days, it's the 9th, so 10, 11, 12, 3 days, we're going to know if we really do strike. I think we are at this point. I am really appreciative of them though, giving it their all. Also, this is a shorter negotiation time than it has been in the past. And can you imagine going through a document that's, I'm not gonna say how many pages, but it's pretty long, and trying to negotiate extreme things that in the past we haven't had to try, in a smaller amount of time, to ask for 2 more weeks to negotiate on our behalf? Why are you mad?
That's nothing. I know.
Why
Well,
are you mad?
and also we're looking at technology and advancements that we've never had to face before.
Right.
You know, and so like, of course that's going to be a bigger, longer, heavier
Right.
conversation.
Would you
Like,
like us to have it addressed in the room in a nice, diplomatic way? Or would you like us to be like, fuck it, fuck it, we're just gonna go on strike, and they're,
right. Well, and then also like the long-term ramifications of that, where it's like, okay, we half-ass this, and then 5 years from now, like, your image and likeness is being used in a movie that you didn't get
right.
paid
Because
for,
our
you weren't
negotiators didn't
hired
try
for.
their best, which they're doing. That's why they extended it for 2 weeks. Why are
Exactly.
you not
Like,
getting this?
AI is dangerous for actors and writers. Like our literal careers could be in jeopardy, especially with
Correct.
all these big tech conglomerates that have like your face everywhere, your info
Mhm,
everywhere, like
mhm,
your health information everywhere. You know, like, it's
mhm.
too late to get any of that shit back or
Right,
off the table. But like,
right.
they can use that without this kind of negotiation to create humans in a film that you're not in. I mean, CGI is kind of crazy enough, But
Right.
then like you're adding the AI component to it, and it's like, oh my God. And that technology isn't perfect. It's really good, but it's not perfect.
It's getting better
But
and
it's
better.
just going to get better.
It's just one of those things where it's like I think about people who yell so loud or get mad about something that actually doesn't even make any sense. Like, it's like, you can get mad that we're not on strike yet, but we literally couldn't have gone until the 30th. And then the negotiators recommended, can we please extend? We're just going to extend for 2 more weeks. Nothing is crazy right now. Just let it happen so we can figure stuff out. And then we'll go on strike and you'll be happy. And
Yeah.
we can all be on strike.
We can all be on strike.
Isn't that fun for everyone? Like, what the hell? Wasn't the point? Whatever. I just can't. But
I
yeah,
know.
it's just that's all. And I hate the it's just such a reaction. It's like, oh my God, something's being screwed. It's like, dude, we all want. Do you realize that everyone that's negotiating? I think they also don't recognize this, which is like, do some research. Everyone in that negotiating room is a SAG-AFTRA member.
Right.
Obviously they want this to work. Like, if they were just like a random people that we hired, yeah, sure, you can have
Then
some.
they don't fucking care. Yeah, but it's the in party
Literally
is
us. We're
literally
negotiating
us.
right now.
Yes. Ugh.
No one wants us to get screwed. So anyway, so just calm down. It's going to be okay. You can have those feelings. Love that for you. Love that people are passionate. But I hope I see you out on the picket line. I hope I see you 3 weeks from now. I hope I see you the next day. I hope I see you 2 months from now if we're still dealing with this. I hope I see you. Because if you're
Well,
this
I think
now at our negotiators who are on your side, I hope you're
Yeah.
that mad.
I think the anticipation from what I'm getting is that it's going to take the whole summer if the strike does happen, which is horrifying. But
Yeah, but we
also,
can't predict. I mean, they could immediately in a week be like, wow, LA's now officially shut down for writing. Now the actors
Yeah.
won't call. Help. Oops.
right. Oops. Well, and also I'm curious to have your take on the Ryan Murphy of it all. Obviously, I love him and all the content that he does, and I should be so lucky for him to ever do anything that I've touched.
Yeah.
But he's like suing for the ability to continue production, because I think his American Horror Story, the next version of it, is like still shooting at Silvercup Studios here in New York, and he's now wanting to sue to continue that shooting process. So 1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, so I had an audition for that, which is so funny. And I was like, is this going to get made? It's like, I'm so confused that this is coming on my doorstep, knowing what's happening. Look, I mean, it's like, I don't know why. I do know why he wants to make his thing and doesn't want to lose the money that he's put in. But there is a strike, so I don't know, like, why. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can wait. I understand. It's a lot of people out of work. It's a lot of people. Like, I'm sure he has a lot of pressure on him, being like, I have to support this entire community of IATSE members, of writers, of actors, and I'm sure they all want to keep it going. But if we're striking against the producers that are screwing all of us, and this contract, this thing he's doing is under that, that's what it is. And I'm sorry. And I'm sorry that that's happening. And we can't keep making things that's as being a scab. We can't, when you're on strike, you can't keep making the things to weaken our fight. Just saw Newsies last night and I was like, yikes, so I was like, wait, I forgot how union in the strike and everything, it's literally a movie. So my point is that, yeah, I mean, do you, dude, you're a very powerful person though. So what you do does matter. So I understand both that he is concerned about the people probably that are under him. He also wants to make his thing. Totally feel that. I can't speak for him, but I would say in this moment, it might be the time to just
throw the towel in for a second.
So this can end faster.
Yeah. Well, and I had the very nice privileged opportunity to meet him one time, and he's very sweet. He's very funny and like just a nice dude. So it's hard for me to believe, in the brief interaction that we had based on that like he's doing this from a place of some menacing, maniacal, like, I need to get this done.
We're all people.
Of course. And like, like you said, I think it probably does come from a place of wanting to take care of the people that are working for him, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, like, on the other side of that, he has had a season of American Horror Story come out every year for the last however many
not like
years.
It's gonna
so like, is he mad that it's like breaking the cycle? Like, what? I just, I mean, whatever.
I can't read his mind, but I will say that, like, to empower the people that are under him now, would be
Yeah.
to make sure our future is better. And by
Right.
doing that, we need to
Right.
fight
And
the powers
I
that be.
love him, and I'm just kind of curious, like what is this coming from? Like I kind of want that answer more so, because like
Yeah.
obviously of course you want to make it, of course you want to keep
Duh.
going, you know, but so then I'm just like you said, like he's very powerful, he's very influential, and
Right.
so what he
That's why
does
his doing
matter.
this makes a difference. Meaning, like, if you don't do this and you make a stand, it's much more powerful. Now, to be clear, and I want to say this before we wrap up, because I gotta pack and head back to New York, but I'll be back, Bill. We can see each other a lot.
Yay.
My weekend. But my thing is, like, if we like, if this is like, okay, if SAG-AFTRA were to strike, because I can't legally say, yeah, I don't know. But let's just say if we were in a few days, all of us that are, not all of us, because I've made some bigger things, but like, I mean, like everybody who's like under the not AMPTP, meaning anything that's under like millions of dollars, can still be made. We can still make our things. I say this is a great opportunity for actors and creatives to culminate, gestate their ideas while fighting for our rights. So when things are back to normal, we can really take off with some really great stuff. But that's a privileged thing to say. There's people that are gonna be out of work that will be like not okay. But again, for the actors in particular that I can only speak to, I can't speak for the WJ because I'm not a member. I can't speak for the DJ. I can't speak for the Teamsters. I can't speak for the non-union actors. I can't speak on that. But what I can speak on is as a union actor, I can still work under all the SAG indie contracts, all the contracts that are you know, a lot of voiceovers of all the voiceover stuff's not going to get really touched. A lot of, and you know, some narrative, sure, but not really under the MPTP. They don't really control a lot of it unless it's like a high animation thing. But like, you've got commercials that'll still be made. No one's touching that. You've got indie features that can be up to $1.5 million. You have pilot presentations. You have all this stuff that's not under them. So it's not like when this happens, the people that are going to get hurt the most are the most powerful people and the people that are in like big things, but they'll be okay. We're going to be okay. And
Right,
if we
they're
fight
fine.
back, and I'm sure I can't speak for everyone, I'm sure some of them are not fine, but all I can say is that if we fight back against these powerful things with our power players, like Joss, like other people, that's way more effective than if we don't. And we are, if we go on strike, all of our high profile members, which every actor that you know is a member of SAG-AFTRA that you recognize, that's a huge get. And there's idiots for fighting us. They're idiots.
Well, and I just saw that the petition is up to 1,000 signatures.
Yep, I signed it.
Hell yeah.
But that's my thing. So again, I'm not anti let's go on strike, but I'm pro my people and my union, who are all of us who are fighting for this. And if they want to extend 2 weeks, why are we mad? We might get all
Why
what
are
we
we
wanted
mad?
without
Exactly.
having to do this strike thing. Why are
Yeah.
you mad? Scene. I'm it. Like,
And
that's it.
same.
And then my mic fell. My mic's like, shut up. And it was a mic job. Oh my God. Never
Oh
mind.
my God.
I'm so sorry getting on my soapbox.
No, I love
everybody
your
asked.
soapbox. I love your soapbox because like you have your finger on the pulse, you're in this, you know what's up. And I think it's so much better to have information that is streamlined from you because you're there and you know what's up.
Yeah.
Than listening to rumors and publications
Yeah.
that are kind of
All the
skewing
rumors.
it for their own benefit.
Just pay attention, guys, to what you're being fed, because if you think about it, a bunch of gotcha quotes from people who aren't in a leadership position crapping on like the leader currently is obviously a tactic to weaken us. That was why that article was written. Just take a second and think on that. And they were critiquing her on something that she actually is on their side for, so it makes no sense whatsoever. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, and
So,
also like pay attention to other voices that are kind of lower to the ground, right? Like
right.
my friend Sean Sharma, he's like very much
Yeah.
involved with SAG-AFTRA, and
Mhm.
he's been very transparent about
Yes.
what's going on the end too. Like he's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So
He's in there. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, just like listen, be careful of who you're listening to with stuff like this, you know, and that's true with everything, you know, like take everything that you hear with a grain of salt until you find out for yourself from
Right.
a source that is closer to
Right.
what's going on.
And there's a lot of working actors who you might not even recognize who are in that negotiation right now. And don't you think they would fight so hard for us to have the right things? So if they recommend that we extend 2 weeks, please support them. That only weakens them. Now you're on the side of the producers by
Right,
doing
because
it.
then you're
FYI.
dividing. Exactly. It's the divide and conquer
Don't fall for
mentality
it, guys.
here.
We're all
Don't
in this
fall for it.
together.
Yes.
Other than the APTP. We're all in this together.
Right.
Well, I love you.
I love you
This is
too. And
great.
this has been great. I can't wait till you're back to the city. We have
Me
so
too.
much to
Literally tonight.
do.
Yeah, we have so
Literally
much-
tonight. And I will see you soon. And everyone, like, subscribe, follow, share, do all the things. You know,
Yes.
ring a bell, light a candle, do some sage, whatever you need to
Yes.
do. But
Cross your heart.
let's
Do all
keep
your
this
things.
going, and we'll see you on a Monday sometime, because that's when our new episodes come out.
I want the dollars.
I want the dollars.
Give me the bag.
Pay me.
You're so rich.
Pay me.
Work.